You know how some phrases they just stick with you? They seem to have this power that goes way beyond the literal meaning of the words. It's almost like there's a secret code buried in our language, and today, we're gonna crack it.
Just think about this classic line from Shakespeare. I mean, obviously, the world isn't literally a stage, and we're not actually actors in a play. But you get it, right? The image is so powerful that we know exactly what he meant.
So, what is that magic trick? What's the technique behind it all? This isn't just about sounding fancy or poetic. It's about using a specific set of tools that, believe it or not, anyone can learn to spot, and even use themselves.
Well, that secret code we've been talking about, it has a name: figures of speech. And they are the absolute key to unlocking a more creative, memorable, and just plain powerful way of communicating.
So, at its core, a figure of speech is all about taking language beyond its dictionary definition. It's not so much about what the words say on the surface, but about the picture they paint in your head, the feeling they create, and the connection they build. And listen, this stuff isn't just for poets and playwrights. When you get a handle on these devices, your own communication gets a serious upgrade. Your ideas stick, you connect way better with your audience, and honestly, it just shows you really know what you're doing with the language. All right, let's dive into our first group of tools. Some of the most common and powerful figures of speech are all about making these really clever and surprising comparisons between two things you'd never normally put together. Okay, so check out the difference here, because it's a big one. A simile is kind of gentle. It says something is like something else, using the words like or as. A metaphor? Whoa, it goes all in. It just flat out declares that something is something else. It's way more direct and forceful. Here's a perfect example of a simile. Wordsworth wasn't actually a cloud, of course, but comparing his loneliness to a single drifting cloud, that creates a much more vivid and emotional picture than just saying, man, I was lonely. And see that little word as? That's the giveaway. And boom, here's the metaphor. Life isn't literally a roller coaster, but this direct statement instantly gets the idea across, right? The thrilling highs, the scary lows, the twists and turns. It doesn't need like or as, it just says what it is, and that's what makes it so powerful. Okay, next up, let's talk about how breaking the rules of logic can actually be an incredibly powerful tool. Sometimes the statements that make you stop and go, wait, what? Are the ones that make you think the hardest. So we've got two related ideas here. A paradox is the big one. It's a whole sentence that seems to contradict itself, but when you think about it, there's a deeper truth hiding in there. An oxymoron is its smaller cousin. It's super compact, just two opposite words smashed together, like deafening silence or bittersweet. This one from Robert Frost is a fantastic paradox. I mean, at first glance, it sounds completely nonsensical. But it forces you to pause and think about a bigger idea, about shared purpose and how we're all connected. And here's another great one. How can something be more equal? It can't. It's a logical impossibility, and that's exactly the point. Orwell uses this paradox to make a powerful, unforgettable critique of hypocrisy. And this one from Hamlet might be the most famous of them all. It perfectly captures a really complex and painful human dilemma in just 5 simple words. The contradiction is what makes it so memorable. Antithesis also plays with opposites, but it's all about balance and rhythm. It takes two opposing ideas and puts them in a mirrored structure, like to err is human, to forgive divine. See that perfect balance? It makes the phrase feel both catchy and incredibly wise. All right, for our final category, let's look at the figures of speech that literally bring language to life. These are the tools that make things feel animated and make phrases just sound better. So personification is pretty straightforward. It's when we give human qualities to something that isn't human. And this is such an amazing tool because it lets us build a real emotional connection with abstract ideas or inanimate objects. I mean, we all know stars can't actually wink, right? But saying they winked gives them this playful, almost conscious quality. It creates a scene that feels so much more alive and magical than if you just said, the stars were shining. And here's one you definitely remember from school. Alliteration is just the repetition of the first sound in words that are close together. It creates this awesome rhythm that's really pleasing to the ear, and it makes phrases just lodge themselves in your brain. Now, before you write this off as just some silly poetic device, check this out. Alliteration is an absolute powerhouse in modern branding. Coca-Cola, PayPal, TikTok, why do they do it? It's simple. It makes their names catchy, fun to say, and incredibly easy to remember. It's an ancient trick that's working on all of us, every single day.
So there you have it. The secret code isn't so secret anymore, is it? Once you know what you're looking for, I promise you're going to start seeing these devices absolutely everywhere, from Shakespeare to your favorite cereal box.
Here's a simple little checklist to get you started. As you're reading or listening to things, just ask yourself, is this meant to be taken literally? Are they comparing two different things? Is there a weird contradiction going on here? Is an object acting like a person? That's it. That's how you start decoding. So the next time you hear a line that really grabs you, just pause for a second and ask yourself, why? You now have the keys to understand the architecture behind powerful language. The only question left is, what are you going to notice first?